McDonald's is one of the most iconic fast food chains in the world. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's a place where you can grab a quick bite at any time. Whether you're stopping by for breakfast, lunch, or even a midnight snack, it's a reliable spot to satisfy your cravings. But even in a familiar, friendly place like McDonald's, things can happen that defy explanation, things that linger in your mind, refusing to let go. This is my story, one that still haunts me to this day. 3 years ago, when I was just 17, something happened that I'll never forget. Back then, I was desperate for a job. I needed money to pay for college, and finding work at that age wasn't easy. After weeks of searching, I finally landed a job at McDonald's. I was overjoyed, even though the job was demanding. To keep my boss happy, I worked whatever shifts he assigned, whether it was morning, evening, or night. I didn't complain. I needed the job, and I was determined to keep it. For the first 3 months, I only worked day shifts, which I was grateful for. But one day, my boss called me into his office. He told me that I had gained enough experience and that it was time for me to start handling night shifts. He assured me that nights were usually quiet, with fewer customers and less work to do. When he asked if I was okay with it, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I couldn't afford to refuse. My first night shift was scheduled for that Saturday, from midnight to 5 a.m. When Saturday night arrived, I showed up at McDonald's right on time. My manager met me at the door and handed me a list of tasks. "It's pretty straightforward," he said. "Refill the ketchup, mayonnaise, and barbecue sauce dispensers. Clean the floors. Set the tables. Just follow the list, and you'll be fine." After giving me a quick rundown, he left for the night, leaving me alone in the restaurant. At first, everything seemed fine. The place was quiet, almost peaceful. I started working through my tasks, refilling the sauces and cleaning the tables. Time passed quickly, and before I knew it, it was 2 a.m. That's when I noticed something odd. Not a single customer had walked in since my shift began. McDonald's is usually busy, even late at night, so the silence felt unnatural. Still, I brushed it off. Maybe it was just a slow night. As I continued cleaning, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The quiet was too intense, too heavy. It was as if the entire world outside had gone still. I tried to focus on my work, but a strange sensation crept over me, the feeling of being watched. It was subtle at first, like an itch at the back of my mind. But the longer I worked, the stronger it became. I glanced around the restaurant, my eyes darting to the windows and the shadows in the corners. Nothing. The place was empty. I told myself I was just being paranoid. It was my first night shift, and I wasn't used to being alone in such a quiet place. "You're imagining things," I muttered to myself. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. A dark shape outside the window. I froze, my heart pounding. Slowly, I turned to look, but there was nothing there. Just the empty parking lot, dimly lit by a flickering streetlight. I let out a shaky breath, laughing nervously. "Get a grip," I said, shaking my head. "It's just your imagination." Trying to calm myself, I went back to work. But the feeling didn't go away. In fact, it grew stronger. Every few minutes, I found myself glancing at the windows, expecting to see something. And every time, there was nothing there. The silence was oppressive, pressing down on me like a weight. I turned on the radio in the kitchen, hoping the music would drown out my unease, but it didn't help. Around 2:30 a.m., as I was wiping down the tables, I saw it again. The dark shape, standing just outside the window. This time, it didn't disappear when I looked. It was there, motionless, staring at me. My breath caught in my throat as I tried to make sense of what I was seeing. It was a person, or at least, it looked like one. But something about it was wrong. Its proportions were off, its limbs too long, its posture unnatural. And its eyes. Its eyes glowed faintly, like dim embers in the darkness. Panic bubbled up inside me, but I forced myself to stay calm. It's just someone messing with you, I thought. A prank. That's all. Gathering my courage, I stepped closer to the window, hoping to get a better look. But as I approached, the figure moved. It didn't walk or step back. It just shifted, like a shadow melting into the darkness. And then it was gone. I stood there, staring at the empty spot where it had been, my mind racing. Should I call someone? The police? My manager? But what would I say? That I saw a weird shadow outside? They'd think I was crazy. Shaking my head, I decided to get back to work and finish my shift as quickly as possible. The sooner I was out of there, the better. For the next hour, I tried to focus on my tasks, but my nerves were shot. Every little noise made me jump, and I couldn't stop glancing at the windows. By 3:30 a.m., I was almost done with my checklist. Just a few more tables to clean, and I could call it a night. That's when I heard it. A voice, faint and distant, but unmistakable. I can see you. I froze, my blood turning to ice. The voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it cut through the silence like a knife. I turned slowly, my eyes scanning the empty restaurant. There was no one there. I can see you, the voice said again, louder this time. And my eyes darted to the windows, and my heart stopped. The figure was back, standing right outside the glass. Its face was pressed against the window, its glowing eyes locked onto mine. And it was smiling. A twisted, inhuman smile that stretched far too wide. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. All I could do was stare as the figure raised a hand and tapped on the glass. Tap. 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 The sound jolted me out of my paralysis, and I stumbled back, nearly tripping over a chair. My mind was screaming at me to run, but my legs felt like jelly. Somehow, I managed to reach the front door. My hands were shaking so badly that it took me 3 tries to hang the closed sign. I locked the door and backed away, my eyes never leaving the figure. It didn't move. It just stood there, smiling that awful smile. I grabbed my car keys and bolted out the back door, not caring if I left anything behind. As I ran to my car, I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting the figure to be following me. But the parking lot was empty. I jumped into my car, locked the doors, and started the engine. Peeling out of the lot, I didn't look back. When I got home, I locked every door and window and sat in the living room with all the lights on. My phone buzzed with a text from my manager, asking why I had left early. I told him I wasn't feeling well and promised to explain in the morning. But I never did. I knew he wouldn't believe me.to this day. I don't know what I saw that night. Maybe it was a prank, or maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. But deep down, I know the truth. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't human. And I'll never work a night shift again.